All right, let's go back over this. You know, when Donald Trump cautioned them, it was at the golf course, he said, listen, you can't use sex. They weren't using sex. They were appealing. Is there a line? What is the line? What is wrong with a great-looking woman, and there are some great-looking women on that show, looking great?
Because they don't have to emphasize it. The fact is if you look great, you look great. You don't have to emphasize it. As soon as you go to emphasize that, you're overemphasizing your femininity. And that's what's going to work against you in the long run.
So I know that now that it is time to go, what do I do?
Okay, the first thing that you need to do is really do an assessment of your skills and abilities, because I see a lot of people change jobs because they're unhappy, but they go to another job where they're doing the exact same thing, and what they don't realize is they're not doing what they love to do. One of the websites I send people to is www.keirsey.com, and if you go on there, you can take what's called a temperament sorter and learn about your skills.
But what if you take a plunge? Let's say I'm an accountant and I become a clown. I get the floppy shoes and I decide 2 weeks later, I hate this job. How do you protect yourself from yourself?
Sure. You know, one of the things you can do is there's a great website also. It's called Vocation Vacations. And what you do is they actually pair you with, in this case, a circus or another clown that lets you try it out during your vacation.
But when a young woman gets a job and enrolls in a company 401k plan, we're not talking about the kind of money that's going to make them rich. The book talks about why women don't get rich. What do they have to do to get Trump money?
Yeah, what they have to do, first of all, is they have to have a goal. You know, there's not a woman on the face of the earth that doesn't know what she wants the scale to say when she steps on it.
That's a good point.
Yeah, but women don't know what they want their bank account to say. And what you vision is what you get. So first of all, you need to say to yourself, you know, how much money do I need to lead a rich life? And my definition of rich is having all the money you need to live your life the way you want, free from concerns about money.
You're saying it's our fault that women are paid a third less than men? Our fault that we have child care issues that prevent us from succeeding on the fast track that men can be on?
I'm not saying it's anybody's fault. I'm saying what we do sometimes is collude with a system that would like to keep us in our place. You heard Hillary Clinton this morning mention something to that very effect.
Okay, so the system you're saying is that we're taught from very young that we need to be nice, that we're taught, you're saying in this book,
yes,
to act a role of nicety. Where do we get this? Is this from our parents? Is this from society?
Both, actually. When you think about it, in childhood, little girls are taught to be nurturers, accommodators, don't make too much noise, don't call too much attention to yourself. That's as opposed to our male counterparts or our brothers who are given messages that work for them throughout their lifetimes. Messages like stand up for yourself, have a voice, don't let anybody take advantage of you. And that really works for them, but the messages that we get work against us.
Don't you feel that you're putting yourself in a place of weakness by saying, boy, I need help with this, and maybe that's another reason why not to say I want help, that you want to show, hey, I know what I'm doing. You hired me, I want to live up to what you're expecting.
Well, you would think so, but in fact, I think there's a lot of respect accorded to people who say, hey, look, I want to be successful, I want to be successful in this culture. Now, just give me a couple of clues about what are the do's and the don'ts. I think people would look upon any employee who said that as politically savvy.
Lois, isn't this whole notion, though, of a glass ceiling a little outdated here? I mean, over the past 5 years or so, we've seen a tremendous, I think a surge in women executives. Carly Fiorina, the CEO of Avon, Oprah's power. You've seen in public service, Madeleine Albright, Condi Rice. Aren't things changing fast?
No. Because
Thank you, Lois.
Yes, no,
okay.
They're not changing fast, because the point at which you can name more than 5 or 6 women that have really arrived, then I'll say things are changing fast. When you look at the top of Fortune 500 CEOs, I think something like 3% of Fortune 500 companies are run by women. Women still only earn 72 cents to the dollar for working similar kinds of jobs. I think when that changes, I'll say we've come a long way.
Hi, I have a question as far as what are 3 things I can do to assert myself as an authority figure at work as a first impression. Like when people first meet me, they may, automatically consider me as like a nice person and wouldn't consider me for the top job. So I'm wondering what I can do to show my authority.
Terry, that's a terrific question, because the fact is that you have just a few minutes to make, or a few seconds to make a great first impression, and 50% of your credibility is based on how you look and how you sound. Or 50% is how you look, 40% is how you sound. So some of the very first things that you can start doing is, number one, make sure your handshake is firm. When you meet someone, you be the first person to extend your hand and to shake firmly, because if you don't, you're giving them that control. Something else is, be sure you call people by their first name. For example, if you're introduced to Mr. James Jones, you extend your hand and you say, "It's nice to meet you. Would you prefer to be called James or Jim?" Make that assumption of equality. And a third thing that you can do is make sure that you use short, pithy sentences when you talk. Short sounds confident. I feel as if ever there was a time for women to lead, that time is now. It's a fallacy to think that hard work and delivering results are going to get you ahead, because those are only table stakes. They get you just so far. To make sure you join your company's 401k plan. A lot of times women will wait because they'll think to themselves, oh, I might not be here that long, or it's just not that important, or I'm going to get married anyway. And they miss out on that free money that you can get from your employer when they match what you put in. It would take 73 years for women to reach parity at the rate of change we're going through now. One of the reasons why women don't have more wealth in this world is because they believe they have to be doing good. It's why you see women go into professions like social work, like teaching, like nursing, and those are traditionally low-paid professions. I always say, if you have a complaint about something, don't just complain. Instead, accompany it with a solution and be strategic about it and communicate it in a clear and concise way. That turned out really good. Cool.